Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Successful with Schizophrenia. I'm Kylie, and I'm excited for our 21st episode. So, what is on today's agenda? Well, today we're going to be talking about how is schizophrenia treated. Of course, you can imagine very number one on that list is medication. All right, so here are four different types of medication there is antipsychotic, antidepressant, anti anxiety, and mood stabilizers. Me personally, I'm on four medications: two antipsychotics, one hefty antidepressant, and occasionally anti anxiety when I need it. Now, I've tried mood stabilizers in the past, but for me, they didn't really work. Not to say that they won't work for you. I just have a different brain chemistry than the average person, right? And chances are you do too. So maybe just one medication could cover it, and you could feel fully yourself after taking one medication. Or maybe it may take two, maybe take three, four, maybe even five. All right. But medication, in my opinion, is not something to be feared. It's there to help. And if you ever want to have like a conversation about different medication or maybe ways to make sure that you're taking your medication on a consistent basis, we could definitely talk that through. So, me personally, I take my medication when I brush my teeth because sometimes I might forget that I took my medication. But if I can taste the mintiness of my toothpaste, then I know I brushed my teeth. I don't have to worry about it when I'm at work. I can say, yep, I definitely brushed my teeth, which means I took my medication. Okay, so it's pretty easy to remember when you put a cue to it. All right. So next we have psychosocial. Okay, so this it would be including solutions to everyday challenges. So for example, work. There are ways to learn how to cope at work. There's also different accommodations. The word I'm looking for is accommodations that a work environment can have based on a person with, special requirements, I will say. Some people have special requirements in order to work appropriately or work efficiently, and so that can be included. Another one would be attending school. So there could be accommodations when going to school, talking to a counselor, having extended due dates. Other things would be more relaxed on the requirements. I mean, you're still doing the work, it just might not be the same level of work. Not that I'm encouraging anyone to do less than what they're capable of, but I know that there are some accommodations that take place when a person has maybe a learning disability or a mental illness, right? Whatever you would want to label schizophrenia, right? Neurodivergency, right? Whatever you would label it as, they can make accommodations, especially in universities, very, very accommodating. I'm proud to say that I haven't had any accommodations in my work or in my schooling. That has been a huge accomplishment for me because I wanted to make sure that my schizophrenia never got in the way. I never wanted to use it as an out or an excuse or anything that could hold me back. I wanted to make sure that I could do it myself and take pride in that. Okay, so me personally, I did not need the accommodations, but just know that they are available if you need them. Okay, and then the other one would be forming relationships. So, psychosocial groups that I had regarding forming relationships, there was PTSD treatment that helped me heal in a way that I can have healthier relationships with people. I have also been in group therapy where we were doing like a book report. And also, let's see, art class. I've done art group therapy. And really, these are just groups where we can get together and practice communicating with one another. Um, it was kind of, what would be the word? It was kind of hard for me to admit that I needed social groups specifically for people who were neurodivergent, or for specifically for people who had a mental illness or some mental setback, that I was in the same group as adults with an illness or with different needs. I'll just say different needs. It felt awkward for me because I have never needed that before in my life. And to be honest, I was pretty uncomfortable with it. But it was only for a few months. I can at least say I did it. I can at least say that it kind of helped. I practiced getting out of my shell, and now I don't really have a shell. I'm pretty outgoing. So, in a way, it did help, but it was kind of difficult emotionally for me to cope with it, especially because I was going to work full time. And so I had to take away time from work in order to go to those classes or go to those groups. All right. And next we have education and support, like this podcast, like this video. Okay. So the first thing that we have here is education on symptoms and coping skills for individuals and for family. Okay. So this podcast is specifically for people with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder. I technically have schizoaffective disorder, but successful with schizophrenia has a much better ring to it. All right. And I feel like schizophrenia is more common than schizoaffective. Okay, so one thing that I go over in this podcast is definitely coping skills and education. Those are the two main things that I want to make sure that is at your fingertips, easy to find. And if you need more educational resources, we do have a homework section on successfulwithschizophrenia.com. It's really long. Sorry about that, but it's easy to remember, isn't it? All right. So I feel like families have enough support. I really do. Because it was kind of annoying for me to look up support or educational resources or how to get better for people diagnosed with schizophrenia. And all it talked about family this, family that. And I'm like, that's fine and dandy, but what about the people who are actually diagnosed, right? Like they have to have resources. And that was the birth of this podcast. All right. So the next one that we have here is coordinated specialty care, which is basically a treatment team of doctors, specialists, and family. So if you've ever been hospitalized, hopefully you haven't, but I've been hospitalized before. You know, the rubber saki vacay. Yeah, I'm gonna not lie. It was fun. It was fun to go on a rubber saki vacay. It was exactly what I needed at the time. And if you're worried that they won't let you out, uh, they let me out after 3 days. Uh, so it's your choice if you want to go that route of treatment. But just know if you do go into like a 30, not a 32, I think it's like a 72-hour hold. If you're ever in a 72-hour hold, then they automatically come up with a treatment plan. They hook you up with a doctor, a therapist, medication, and other groups, or basically homework or journaling prompts for you to complete, action plan for you to complete in case you're ever in the similar situation. So whenever someone is hospitalized, they get the coordinated specialty care, but it shouldn't need to come down to being hospitalized in order to get coordinated specialty care. So if you need help finding resources, I would definitely be more than happy to help to find something in your area. But that would be my first time trying to do it because my treatment is already set up for me. I'm very fortunate that I haven't had to find all of the resources on my own. But if you need help, I'm absolutely here for you. All right. And then the next one is specifically designed for people who are more likely to be homeless, such as people who are diagnosed with schizophrenia. So, anyone who is likely to struggle with finding housing, This was specifically made for them. All right. So let me see here. It is assertive community treatment. All right. So it's called assertive community treatment. And it's for people who are very likely to experience multiple hospitalizations or homelessness. All right. So I have only been hospitalized one time, and I am very fortunate that I have not had to experience homelessness. But that's not to say that you don't know someone who's affected by this or you aren't affected by this yourself. So just know that there are resources available to you, and they can help you make sure that you have sustainable housing, food, and even connect you with employment or even schooling options. Okay. So there's a lot out there. I just want to let you know that being diagnosed with schizophrenia is not the end. It's not the end of anything. In fact, it's a new beginning. And I am living proof of that, right? So that brings us to the end of this podcast. If you have not already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Successful with Schizophrenia. There's underscores in between it or spaces, whatever you do, but you'll find it. Successful with Schizophrenia, pretty easy to find. And if you want to check us out on our website and see our homework and resources, that's going to be successful with schizophrenia.com. And again, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give a like, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do. Rate. Oh my gosh, if you could rate us, that would be amazing. Or share it with someone who might find this helpful, whether it's your therapist, your doctor, your friends. If you share this podcast, it can only grow, right? And the goal is to make sure anyone who needs this as a resource can easily find it. So please help us on our journey of expanding Successful with Schizophrenia. All right, that's it from me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.